Massage Heights family, and welcome to Elevate, Massage Heights podcast. This is Shane Evans, co-founder and president of this great brand. Today on Elevate, I have a special guest, Ashley Schuetz, vice president of marketing for Massage Heights. Hi, Ashley, and welcome today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. And I thought before we got into some serious marketing topics that we might get a little up close and personal.
I'm all in. Let's go.
All right. So I want to know something that's sort of specific to Massage Heights. I mean, I could ask you about your family and whatever, but today I'm going to ask you about the first time you ever had a massage. Let's start there.
All right. So first time is when I was graduating college, I lived in a little town just outside of San Antonio. And there was just this little boutique-y, I don't even want to say spa because it wasn't. It was a small price point. And I went in, and I am a small girl, but I like deep tissue. And I know I have therapists tell me all the time, I feel like I'm going to break you. And this poor man was so scared to give me deep tissue, deep pressure. And he kept asking over and over again. And then I realized it was a little bit about he was afraid he was going to hurt me. Mm-hmm. But then it was also because they charge an additional price for deep tissue. I'm in college, no money.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, no. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to pay extra. I have no idea how much extra it is. So, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay if I don't enjoy it as much, and it doesn't feel as therapeutic as it should. And so I went the rest of the massage, didn't enjoy it, and it's worse than a tease of someone just coming and rubbing your shoulders a little bit because you're on the massage table and you want so bad for it to make you feel better.
Yes.
But you're in the situation, you're in the environment, but it doesn't work because they're not able to do their job effectively. And it was my fault because I just didn't want to pay the extra dollars, however much it was, maybe 5, maybe 20, whatever. I just knew it was an additional cost and it hadn't been talked to me about up front. And so that was my first experience. I did not enjoy it, and I did not go back. And that was my first massage, and the first for a while after that.
I think that's a great example, actually, of why at Massage Heights our price points allow you to get a customized massage. It doesn't matter if it's deep tissue, trigger point, Swedish, or what have you.
Absolutely, yes.
So we're not going to charge you an extra $20 just because you want something different than what we have
and just
to
because
offer.
you need it, honestly, too.
Yeah.
There are times that it might be a personal preference, but you really need it. The therapist might tell you, you really need hot stones for this. Yes, it's an upsell, but it's also because they're therapeutically, you really can benefit from it. Yep. So yeah, absolutely.
Letting the therapist do what needs to be done to provide you with the best possible experience and results.
Yep.
So without the extra money. You were recently elevated to Vice President of Marketing. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
You have been with Massage Heights 7 years, and so what does that mean to you? What does this position mean to you after your tenure so far?
Simply put, I think that it means that hard work pays off. It really does. The way that I was raised and where I get my work ethic from, it really goes into this. And it's what you put out there and what you work hard to achieve. You can accomplish. When I first started with the brand, it's been 7 years, I said to my boss, I want your job. And once I achieved that, I said it to the next one. And it's true, and it's not just a matter of saying that, but I believed in it, and I put in the hard work. Nothing in life comes easy, simply put. Whether it is achieving this job or whether it is running your franchise brand or franchise company, it does not matter. It does not come easy. And I am one of those people that is not afraid to get dirty, put in the hard work, and just never stop, ultimately. And so for me, it's a huge milestone, and it's really showing and kind of helping me understand that, all the hard work does pay off. 7 years, we've been through a lot. I've seen a huge evolution in the brand.
Yes.
And it's not all been pretty. Obviously, it hasn't always been rainbows and butterflies. Yes. But when it comes down to
businesses.
No. But when it comes down to it, I've always believed in the brand. And so it's been an easy path to follow. And it's made me feel good about working for people, with a brand who does good. I could be working for another brand possibly that does, a service or sells products or whatever. But it's huge to say that I work for something, and I can tell a story as a VP of marketing. I can tell a story of the brand that I work with or work for does good every single day, and it makes it easy to come to my job every day knowing that. So.
Yeah. Definitely, we are a purpose-driven brand for sure.
Absolutely.
To be able to elevate the lives of the people we touch literally
every day
is a really cool thing. I agree. Well, again, we're so happy to to have been able to help elevate you, but that all comes from hard work, as you said. So nothing's ever handed to anybody. It's all about that diligence and loyalty, passion, all those good things. So tell me a little bit about your plans for the next 90 days. So what does that look like?
A lot. No, I think, well, there's obviously a lot that goes into it. So summarizing it in a couple words is there's a lot more that is built out around that. But it's jumping in full force and aligning the strategies and goals with operations department, team council, marketing committee, and to build a fully comprehensive marketing plan that not only drives prospects, but also team member recruitment. And that's my focus specifically for the first 90 days. Always, but what really needs to get done sooner rather than later.
Tell me, that's great. Tell me a little bit more about how you see yourself working with the franchise community as it relates to that. You know, the team council, the marketing committee. You know, how do you envision that kind of partnership?
Yeah, so I think it is, first off, it's collaboration. It's open lines of communication. And I think that's something that's unique to me being in this role that as an outsider who didn't know the brand possibly for the last 7 years might not have.
Sure.
But the relationships that I've built with the strategic partners and the trust that I've built with them, just from working with them in the trenches when I first started to then more on a strategic perspective, it's really my relationship with them has evolved and it's helped open up lines of communication. So whether it's an email of just letting me know your clear feedback, or it's a phone call to tell me something that you need an answer on, or whatever it may be. So it's getting out there into the system. So I will be visiting the major co-op markets, working with our marketing committees, and obviously the field operations team is huge. So having opening lines and making sure that across departments we are working together. Again, it's aligning those strategies and goals because from our marketing partners to our internal departments in the corporate office to the field, we have to. And so I think it's all about collaboration and communication and getting out there in front of people. There is a lot that can be done over phone call and email, but there's nothing like getting in front of each of our strategic partners, our major co-ops, and having those conversations and be able to answer questions and really just come to something together that really makes something special. And it makes, instead of just a strategy or a plan, we have the execution piece and the buy-in behind it.
Okay, so a little while ago you talked about local level marketing plans and that being one of the primary objectives for, I believe, the quarter. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. What do you see as the opportunity for the local level plans that perhaps, you know, maybe we didn't have before? Is there something significant about that piece?
So I think, and it makes sense, understandably so, historically, we have always built plans from the top down, meaning from a corporate perspective, we set the national promotions, then we build down to regional co-op level plans, and then local specific market, 1 retreat, 2 retreats, whatever it may be, plans. And that's kind of the foundation for how we've done it this year because the marketing committee spent so much time and effort, along with other corporate personnel, to create the 2019 marketing calendar. So we're a little bit ahead in terms of that way, but I want to take a step back and make sure that we're really focusing on what our strategic partners can do inside their communities, inside their 3 miles or whatever it may be.
Owning that 3 miles.
Absolutely. So what can you do? So a marketing plan is not just 1 or 2 things, and it's not just done 1 or 2 times. It is, when I first got into marketing, it was a person has to see your brand at 3 to 5 times stacked on it. Then it was this rule of 7. And now it's 7 to 10 times that someone has to see your brand before they act on it, whether that's buying, coming in for a service, whatever it may be. And that's insane. And you also have to be there specifically when they need it. In this day and age, we are instant gratification. Yeah. If I cannot find it quickly, then I'm going to move on to the next. And so what that means, though, is that we have to be everywhere consistently. And I don't mean spanning yourself so thin.
Very
that
targeted.
That you don't do anything well. I'd rather you focus on a few select things. But in that does not mean just digital.
Sure.
I am a huge proponent of digital marketing. I could geek out and talk about it all day long. But it is not the end-all, be-all. It is a very important piece, but it's just that. It is one piece to the overall plan and the overall marketing puzzle, if you will.
Sure.
And so what's interesting is the idea of simplifying marketing efforts for our strategic partners. And what that means is allowing them, taking away all of the digital pieces and whatever it may be that they didn't come into this brand as digital marketing experts, nor do they need to be. They have so many other things to worry about in terms of operating their business.
Sure.
It's hiring, training, recruitment, retention, scheduling, whatever it may be. There are a ton of other things. Marketing is a big piece, and it's a very important piece to that.
Absolutely.
But it is a piece that they should not have to be in their Google AdWords accounts and identifying what is having a higher click-through rate or better conversions. They should be in their communities building those local relationships, and that's what I want to get to. I want to get to a place where our strategic partners are focused on building those business-to-business grassroots events within their community. So we are a health and wellness brand. We help people live better lives every single day with the people that we touch that walk into our retreats. But if we are not out there in our community saying those things and doing those things, we're going to miss people that are just right in front of us, that could use us, do need us, but we're just not out there saying it.
Sure.
And so it's the idea of simplifying and taking away the extra pieces that our strategic partners don't need to be spending their time day in and day out on, and allowing them to really focus and hone in on the things that only they can be great at doing.
Yeah. The One Thing. Have you ever read that book? The One Thing?
I have not, no.
It's really about identifying the one thing that only you can do. Right?
I love it, yes.
Yeah. And so, for me, my one thing is telling the brand story. I'm the only one that can tell the founder story, really the way that I tell it, right? And so that's my one thing. And there's not anybody on our corporate team or anywhere else that is going to be able to do that. And franchisees in their markets are really the one person, the people who can tell the story of their business at that local level, right? And they're the only ones that can get out there into the communities and develop those relationships and build that trust and those kinds of things.
It puts a personality to who we are, right? Yeah. I love seeing. I have friends. I have a mom friend who I went to school with. She's a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids, and she is a socialite on social media. And she tags herself when she goes in for her monthly massage at Massage Heights, and I love it. When I first saw it, I love it.
That's awesome.
When I have friends who find out where I work or they're tagged in, they say, "Oh, I know about the brand," or "I've gone there," and I love seeing that because it means we're out there in our communities, right? Yes, they can come into our locations, but how did you hear about us first? Whether it's sponsoring golf tournaments, I've had quite a few people over the years that have seen us do chair massage at golf tournaments.
Sure.
It's reaching those audiences that, from a digital perspective or a corporate perspective, I cannot reach for you.
Yeah.
I can to a small extent, but you're really able to get out there in your community. We are a national brand. We are a franchise brand. And there comes a stigma with that, sometimes in a negative connotation, but it's the incorrect connotation because while we are a franchise brand, we are individually owned and operated in each individual market. That strategic partner of that location is putting people within those communities to work and helping them provide for their family and helping the people who come in within those communities to live better through massage and skin therapy.
Sure.
So that's what we have to get back to, and that's what we have to remember. So we have to localize the brand in each individual market.
Yeah.
And it's a big task. It's a big to-do, but it's something that only the strategic partners, there's a one thing that our strategic partners can do really well if they have the time and the dedication to do so.
Absolutely. What is the one thing that you believe the franchise partner should do as it relates to grassroots marketing? So is there I know there's a lot of different things. I don't want to start this let's just do one thing kind of thing, because that's what we're trying to get away from, right? We know that just pushing a button for digital and paying somebody to do it is not
it's a lot easier.
Yeah, that's a lot easier, but it's not going to get the traction. We know also there was a conference, the Consumer Marketing Conference, probably 3 years ago in Atlanta, that I remember they had a guest speaker from Google, and they were talking about the cost of keywords, right? And health and wellness was the most expensive.
Oh yes.
Of all industries, right? Because there's just so much out there that you can associate with health and wellness, right? So if you're trying to just play in that space,
you'll never win.
You'll never win. And then you think about the competitors that we have, and not just big national brands, but even local level brands that are, bidding against those keywords as well, right? So, so that's where the grassroots tactics really come into play, and where you can get so much more traction if you're consistently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they don't all have to be these huge things. Digital can be as you said, a very expensive game to play.
Yeah.
But the localization and the local activation doesn't have to be. I'll give a shout out to Alan Ryman. Years ago, he gave away flowers on Mother's Day to just all of the women. I think it might have been the weekend of, but all of the women that came in. Something small.
Yeah.
Cost them not very much money to buy a couple dozen, dozens of roses.
Yes.
But people talked about it and people loved it. And I remember them sending us pictures about it. It's something small. And that's just one of hundreds of examples that I could give you over the last 7 years. But there are little things like that that go a long way in terms of building a relationship. We are not a transactional brand. We're a relationship-based brand. And ultimately, that's what we're doing. Whether it's sponsoring a fun run. Atlanta sponsored years ago the All-State Run. It was a regional race, so they went in and did it together, at least a couple of locations together. We have done the Dallas Rock and Roll years ago, San Diego Rock and Roll. They can be these huge productions that you want to co-op your dollars for, but they can also be very local ones. Partnering with especially around Valentine's Day, partnering with a local florist, and whether it's allowing you to put your flyers of our gift card promotion up at their location, or that when they're sending out an email, which is very heavy around this time, being in on their email blast and talking about it. So there are just different ways that you can partner within your community. I could speak for hours on this, but there are so many ways, and this is the fun part about our brand. This is what I love. Along with geeking out on digital marketing, I could geek out on this. There's just so many ways for us to be it's personalizing our brand and kind of just putting content behind who we are. We're a health and wellness brand, and we help people. And this is how we do so.
Well, and we have a product, a service that people love.
Yes.
And partnering with local bloggers other businesses, like you said, who would not trade out something for a massage, right?
Giving away a chair massage is the easiest thing you could ever do. No one says no. So absolutely, there are so many ways that we could do so.
Well, and if you get creative, back to Alan Ryman, that's a surprise and delight thing. It's a tiny little thing that creates so much opportunity for just some chatter on social media.
That's exactly what it
women
did.
to say, oh my gosh, I went in and got a massage and I walked out with a rose or what
and now ultimately I feel more loyal to your brand because of that.
Sure.
And so I'm okay extending my membership or coming in maybe once more a month, and it's the little things that go a long way.
Yeah. Why don't you tell me a little bit? I know that there are some things that you're super excited about this year, and we'll talk about a couple of them, but why don't we talk about digital marketing and some digital marketing partners and some opportunities that we have, and what they mean for the brand, and I have to say, obviously, any opportunities that we have, things that we execute, partnerships, all of it's our success is really contingent upon operations and operational standards as well.
Absolutely.
So, the one thing that you might tell me about here in a second is not going to be the end all be all, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing.
I wish I had the end all be all. How awesome would that make me look?
Well, tell me about some things that are coming up, and what should our franchisees be excited about, whether it's this quarter or the year or what have you. Just kind of vision, partnerships that we have now, and what we can look forward to.
Yeah, so I'll say, I could geek out to digital marketing all day long, but it's because you are reaching people where they spend their time and money. Just quite frankly, it really is. Everyone has a smartphone, a computer, a laptop, a tablet, all of the above, and they have constant access to the internet. So we are reaching people through digital marketing where they spend their time and their money. It's just that simple. But when we do so, we have to do so effectively. So gone are the days where you can just have a single page website and tell people to call you or come in or book this, whatever, purchase this. So you have to have a robust integrated digital marketing plan. If you're going to play in the digital space, you have to do so correctly. And there are so many benefits to being within the digital space and spending some of your marketing dollars, not all, some of your marketing dollars on the digital realm. You talked about earlier the advanced analytics. There is so much more insight into how I can see my money is being spent and the results from that money through digital marketing. The ROI in general on certain digital tactics is huge. So I'll throw a couple of numbers. I'll geek out a little bit on you, but it's email marketing, if done right, can have a a 3,800% return on investment.
Wow.
That's $38 in revenue per $1 spent, if it's done efficiently. Okay, so that's where a lot of this then comes down to. And if the follow through is there and everything. Social media, for example, over 60% of the U.S. population has a social media account. On average, they have 7 social media accounts, which
wow.
I could not manage
So
that, but that's
Instagram,
an average.
LinkedIn, Facebook.
All of the different platforms.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Snap.
So again, it's important to be not just in one place and focus all your time and efforts on just one.
Sure.
Of that, though, the average person spends 2 hours, so I'm almost done geeking out on you, 2 hours on social media a day. When you go into the teenager age, which is obviously not our core customer, but the average is 9 hours per day on social media.
I believe it. I think some adults are spending that amount of time
probably. But what's interesting though, and what wasn't what wasn't a couple years ago is so of those 60% of the U.S. population spending 2 hours on average per day on social media, over a third of that is spent interacting with brands, on branded content or interacting with brands. Wow. So gone are the days that Facebook, I'll age myself a little bit.
Whatever.
When I first joined Facebook, it was when you had to have a college account. It was only for college users. Yeah. Yep. So I had to wait till my freshman year of college. I remember going to college my first week, meeting my husband, and him asking, "Do you have a Facebook?" And he was like the third guy to ask me that. I'm like, "No, I have a MySpace." Yeah. Like, I'm assuming that's what it is, right? Same thing. So I went and created a Facebook because that's what everyone else had, and you could see only within your university and stuff like that. Yeah. Now it is your parents, your grandparents, your colleagues, your business partners. Everyone is on it. And the demographic is changing to be more of a professional environment. Sure. And it's changed so much, the landscape of it in general. So whenever ads were first introduced, it was kind of a hiccup. They weren't on Facebook to be served any sort of content outside of their friends or fan base. But now it's changed. Mm-hmm. So much of our spending habits and our time is done through social media. So we have a huge opportunity to be there, be a player within that space, but we have to do so efficiently, and it has to be strategic, and it has to be comprehensive, meaning integrated across all platforms. So when I say digital, I don't mean just have a website. I mean, have this awesome, robust website that gives all of the content and keywords that our partners, our local consumers need, but then have a campaign, paid digital campaign that sends them to that website to convert to either calling or clicking to come in. Sure. And so one of the you had asked the question of what's to come this year. Yeah. My big hurrah personally is the new MassageHeights.com consumer website. We have partnered with the best in digital marketing, and it's Scorpion Internet Marketing. They are huge players within the franchise space, and in fact, they're one of their humble brags is that they've never lost a franchise brand as a client. So that's always good to say. And they are just great people. We started partnering with them over a year and a half ago for the franchise development side of things. They rebuilt our site there. MassageHeightsFranchise.com, and have been doing our franchise development ads, running paid campaigns for some of our developers as well through franchise development efforts. And they have just been great partners. I mean, partner is the best way to describe that relationship. They really are they're a huge brand in themselves, but they are great partners that think of all aspects from digital marketing, and it's going to be a game changer for us because it's where we need to be, it's what we need to do, and they're the right partners for sure to do it with. So our strategic partners are going to love the localization. It's everything that we have always wanted to be able to provide our strategic partners that we're doing so. So whether it's going into your version of the dashboard on the website as a strategic partner and uploading and highlighting a picture of one of your team members for all of their hard work, or maybe your lifestyle consultant had an awesome month this month. It's talking about you as strategic partners. So going back to, we're a national brand, but we're individually owned and operated. Yeah. We are able to do so for the first time since I've been a part of this brand. We are truly going to be able to do that through this website.
I think that's super awesome. But one thing I want to say about that is that that is going to require, and I think this is what we have to say today, is that requires engagement, right?
Absolutely.
So in order to get that hyper localization on those landing pages, we need our franchisees or a designated person in their business to be that key person that helps get that content uploaded, right? So
Yes.
we can manage a lot of the messaging and connect blogs
And there
things
will be
like that,
defaulted, but it's the personalization that's really key.
Personalization.
Yep, absolutely.
That is going to be super, super, super critical. You talked about Facebook earlier. And, like it or not, the election was won on Facebook, the presidential election, right? We had a digital partner that was...
We know someone who was a part of that.
Yeah, that was a big time part of that. And I think that just goes to show the critical nature of social media
It's
today.
vital, yeah.
It's absolutely vital. So the statistics, the data, the information that you can get can be very valuable and highly lucrative and very targeted.
And intrusive on consumers, but I'll take it all day long as a brand.
Yeah, absolutely. But, speaking of that too, I mean, team members, right? So that's another thing. We know one of the things, and we have another brand association from the past that we know a lot of the marketing that they've done to get team members into their new clubs, right, is Facebook specific, right? So massage therapists and skin therapists really no different. What we know about massage therapists is that almost every single one of them have a Facebook account or Instagram. They're very highly used.
Active, yep.
They're very active, and in almost every one of those situations, they're either hashtagging massage or massage therapist, or they have in their profile that they're a massage therapist, and most of them have some of their own businesses.
Yep.
So another opportunity I would say there with recruitment efforts via social media.
Absolutely. It's a huge piece of it. And you said it too, Instagram. So while I've been talking a lot about Facebook, and that's primarily what we've done, there is a younger demographic that is moving just towards Instagram.
Yeah.
I tell my 14-year-old nieces about Facebook, and that it ages me. They think that I'm not cool anymore because I have a Facebook.
You need to be on IG or Snap.
I have them all. I just don't understand them all, but I've got them. But it's true. They are only on Instagram and Twitter, and there's different things. But one of the pieces within Scorpion that we're going to do is before we roll out in June this full website, we are going to do about a 6 to 8 week test on both recruitment and consumer from a paid digital campaign. And we are going to test anything and everything that we can. One of the focuses that we've never tapped into before that I want to make sure we do is Instagram, because I do think that we are missing a chunk of our therapists for team member recruitment that live on Instagram. And so we will be heavily targeting those and that platform and seeing the results that we can get out of it. So I'll be really excited to share those results as we get into it. But it's really exciting. We have some awesome things planned this year.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be awesome for the brand. Now, next year, 10 years from now, we've really aligned ourselves with some great partners this year that will stick around. They're going to be pillars of our brand for a long time to come. And I think it's important for us to do so.
What have you been wanting to do that you haven't done yet? Personally, professionally, whatever. It could be anything, like a bucket list thing, or what's kind of been there, like you keep saying you're going to do, but you haven't done it. Or maybe it's your New Year's resolution every year. Or
I don't make resolutions.
Well, that's probably smart.
I don't.
Because right now you'd be on probably day 7 of
not doing it. Yes.
Resolution.
I don't know if you remember, a couple years ago, you had us do a bucket list corporately.
Yes.
101 things on the bucket. That was hard to think of that many.
I remember. I've been thinking of that a lot lately.
But it got us. I tried to look for it the other day, and I have it saved. I just need to find it because I want to stay true to that. It took a lot of creativity to think of 101 things.
It's your dream list.
Yes, but it was. So working here has allowed me to do a lot of the things that were initially on my bucket list, whether it's traveling to New York or meeting different people or whatever it may be. It has allowed me to cover off a lot of those. I've jumped out of an airplane. Being a mom, honestly, was always one of my biggest things that I knew I wanted to do. But really, sitting here today and being in this role was another one that was on my bucket list. So I don't have, there are trips I want to take and things, but I feel like every opportunity I've had to do something new outside of my comfort zone, whatever, I've tried to come from a place of yes, especially in the last few years when I maybe hadn't before. So I don't have one overarching thing, but I think I try to step out of my comfort zone as much as possible and take advantage of the opportunities when they come.
That's great. It sounds like you are living your dream.
I hope so. It can only get better, though.
Okay, one last one. Who would you like to see on this podcast? Is there a specific, maybe there's somebody that you respect in the industry, maybe it's one of our franchise partners, or maybe it's a team member that has made an impression on you at the corporate office or in the field. Is there somebody that you can think of that you'd love to see on the podcast?
Yeah. So let's see. I would love to have a team member who's been with us for a long time. Almost, if possible, sit next to someone who hasn't been with us for very long, a team member that's working in our retreats and getting the different perspectives there. And then I gave a shout out to Alan Ryman earlier. Not only do I think he would bring a lot, I think he would be a lot of fun. We all know he's a fun, great guy.
There might be a little dancing going on.
I think there has to be some music and some fun. And yeah, I think it would be great to just hear the different perspectives, whether they're top performers, middle performers, bottom, whatever it may be. Same with team members, old and new. But just to have their perspective. I think that's what's awesome is having you specifically ask these questions and have these conversations is awesome. And then getting the perspective from people that range from all positions and all tenure is really going to create a lot of value.
I couldn't agree more. Well, I appreciate your insights today. I know our franchise community will as well. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now that you've heard from us, we'd love to hear from you. If you've got some ideas on content that you'd like to hear, guests that you'd like to see, please email us at communications@massageheights.com. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to the Massage Heights YouTube in this link. And as always, elevate the everyday.